In the land of ancient Athens, where grand temples rose to honor the gods and the voices of orders echoed through the streets, there lived a man who did not command armies, did not build monuments, and did not seek wealth. He walked among the people, not as a ruler, but as a questioner. His name was Socrates. He was unlike any other. He wore no fine robes, walked barefoot through the city, and spent his days in the agora, the heart of Athens, where merchants bartered, politicians debated, and philosophers preached their wisdom. But Socrates did not preach. He did not claim to have wisdom. Instead, he asked questions. And with each question, he challenged the very foundations of Athenian thought. He did not write books, nor did he charge students for his teachings. He only spoke. And yet his words shaped the minds of those who listened. He would stop men in the streets, in the marketplace, at the gymnasiums, and ask them what they believed to be the simplest of questions. And then, with nothing but his words, he would unravel their certainty. Socrates, tell me, my friend, what is justice? A merchant, proud and confident, would answer. Merchant, justice is obeying the laws of the city. Socrates, and who makes the laws? Merchant, the rulers of Athens. Socrates, and are rulers always just? With a few simple words, Socrates exposed the flaw in their thinking. And as he did, the people of Athens began to see the world differently. Some admired him, seeing his words as a path to wisdom. Others feared him, believing he was tearing apart the traditions of the city. He spoke not to teach, but to awaken. He spoke not to dictate, but to challenge. And in doing so, he made enemies. At first, the powerful men of Athens laughed at him. They dismissed him as an eccentric, a man who wasted his days in idle conversation. But as time passed, the laughter turned to unease. The young men of Athens gathered around him, questioning the world as he did. They no longer accepted the words of the politicians and the poets as truth. They sought reason, they sought understanding, and that made the rulers of Athens afraid. The whispers began to spread through the city. They spoke of an old man who filled the minds of the youth with dangerous ideas. They called him a corrupter, a man who led others away from the gods of Athens. And so the city turned against its greatest thinker. The rulers of Athens could not tolerate him any longer. He was arrested and brought before a court of 500 men, accused of 2 crimes, corrupting the youth and dishonoring the gods. Judge, O Socrates of Athens, you stand accused. How do you plead? Socrates, I plead only for wisdom. Judge, you speak in riddles. Answer plainly. Socrates, if seeking truth is a crime, then I am guilty. This was not a trial for justice. It was a warning to those who questioned too much. The city had made up its mind. The jury cast their votes. The verdict, guilty. The punishment, death by hemlock. His friends and followers were in despair. They begged him to escape, to flee Athens and live in exile. Friend, Socrates, the city is blind. You do not deserve this fate. Come with us. We have arranged a way for you to escape. Socrates, would I be just if I ran from the laws I have lived by? Friend, but the laws are unjust. Socrates, then change them through wisdom, not by cowardice. And so he stayed. He spent his final hours in conversation, speaking of the soul, of virtue, of what it meant to live a good life. Even in death he was teaching. Then the cup was brought to him, a bitter drink, a quiet end. He lifted it to his lips, his followers watching in silent grief. Socrates, to fear death is to think we know what we do not. He drank and smiled. His body grew still, his breath faded, but his words did not die. One student, Plato, wrote them down. And through Plato, Socrates lived on. His questions did not end with him. They crossed the seas, through Rome, through the lands of the scholars of the East, through the great halls of medieval thinkers. And today, thousands of years later, his voice still echoes in the minds of those who seek wisdom. Empires rise and fall, kings and rulers fade into dust, but the name Socrates remains. And his words still challenge us today. Socrates' echoing voice, the only true wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. Think, question, seek truth, and in doing so, you will walk the path of Socrates.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this historical tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Trendy Tale for more amazing stories from the past. And be sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.